Hi friends, welcome to another tutorial on PfSense Firewall. So in the previous video, we discussed how to configure Gre Tunnel on FortiGate Firewall. And on the other end, we had our PfSense Firewall in the previous configuration, but I didn't show you the configuration on PfSense Firewall. So this video will cover the configuration and all the settings that you need to do on the PfSense Firewall to make the Gre tunnel work. If you want to know the configuration on FortiGate firewall, then you can refer to my last video and the reference link that I've given with all the instructions and all the steps on the FortiGate firewall. And for the PfSense firewall, well, again, I will paste the link in the description for your reference so that you can refer the configuration. All right, so let's get started. So this is my network diagram, as you can see on my screen. On the left hand side, we have our PfSense firewall. And on the right hand side, we have our FortiGate firewall. Both are connected via 14.140.40.130 on PfSense and 14.140.40.108 on FortiGate firewall. So this is the Gre tunnel. The tunnel will be from the PfSense LAN interface. I guess this is VLAN 1 or VLAN 2 in my case. And it will terminate on FortiGate port 2, which is having this IP address. And the scope, the LAN network, which we are supposed to encapsulate through the Gre tunnel, is going to be 10.10.10.130/24 on PfSense, which will get into the tunnel, get encapsulated, and go to the other end. And on the FortiGate side, behind FortiGate firewall, we have a IP address 11.11.11.13/32. In your case, it might be a functional network, which might vary from any subnet. So let's not take that into consideration. This is just a test interface IP that we have created on the FortiGate firewall to test the configuration. Okay, so now we have our FortiGate firewall. So this is the PfSense. Okay, this is the firewall PfSense. And my Gre tunnel initiation and termination is on the VLAN 1 interface. As you can see, it is having the IP address 14.140.40.130. And on the FortiGate firewall, it is going to be port 2, 14.140.40.108. As per the diagram that we have here. And behind PfSense, we have 10.10.10.130. Let's check this. 10.10.10.130 is on VLAN 2. And 11.11.11.13 on the FortiGate firewall, which is this, configured on the loopback interface named as LO1. Okay. So now, in order to configure the Gre tunnel, you'll have to click on Interface, Assignment, And then on top, you will see a GRE option. Okay, click on that. Well, in my case, I already have a configuration, but I can show you the configuration. You will have to click on, I have a similar firewall here just to show you the difference. Okay, so you will have the option of GRE. You will have to click on add and you'll have to select the interface. Now, this interface is the initiation point and the termination point for the GRE tunnel that you are going to configure. In my case, well, this is the functional firewall. This is the firewall that I've just taken to show you the differences that you will see. And I'll show you in a bit what are the differences that you will see and what are the things that you need to make sure are in place. Okay, so now inside the GRE configuration under the interface assignment, GRE. Okay, on the PfSense firewall, WAN, VLAN 1, 2, option 3. Okay, so parent interface is the interface where you will have the GRE tunnel terminated as well as initiated from this interface. And the remote IP is 14.140.40.108. And the IPv4 address, well, you see here is the local IP address from where you will initiate the traffic to test the configuration. Well, this is the traffic that is going to be encapsulated under the GRE header. This is the remote IP. 10.10.10.130 is the IP address configured on the PfSense firewall. This network is behind the PfSense firewall. And this IP is behind the firewall FortiGate, as you can see on the diagram. So once this is done, okay, this is covered. This is the remote peer IP, GRE tunnel. This is the local network, which has to be encapsulated. And this is the, well, subnet of that particular LAN network. And you can click on add static route. If you click here, it is going to inject a route pointing to the GRE tunnel. If you don't, well, you will have to manually add the static route. But in my case, well, I want to add the static route for sure. So I'm going to click this option and save. Once you do that, you will see a route in the routing table, as you can see here, optional 3, OPT3, tunnel 4, pointing to the remote gateway. This is the interface. Optional 3. If you go to interface assignment, you will see optional 3 as GRE interface. And on the home screen as well, you will see optional 3. So this is pretty much about the configuration of GRE tunnel. Well, there are many things that you will have to make sure you are configuring on the PfSense firewall for the tunnel to work properly and to process the traffic. So let me show you how it looked like before configuring the GRE tunnel. So here you see there is a WAN interface. Okay. So let me try to configure a GRE tunnel just to show you how it look like and how you will come to know that option 2, option 3, or whatever is the GRE tunnel interface. Click on add. Let me try to add a IP. This is just a dummy IP just to show you how it will look on the firewall. Okay. Previously under here we had only two. Okay, now we already have this assignment option to GRE. Okay, you will see something like this. GRE 192.168.0.1. Add that. You can see here. This is the thing that you will have to do once you add the GRE configuration there. Okay, once you do that, click on save. Go to PfSense and you will see, okay, it's still not showing up. Okay, maybe it is not up. Well, let me just do one thing. Let me just try to add this again so that I can show you the difference. Okay, you can see here the OPT3 is gone. Let us delete this and then let us recreate this. Go to interface, GRE, add Gre tunnel. VLAN 1 is our interface. Remote IP address is going to be 14.140.40.108. Local IP is going to be 10.10.10.130. Remote IP is going to be 11.11.11.13, as you can see on my screen. Let's make it 24 just for time being. Okay, add static route. Okay, I'm not going to click it now. And now I'm going to show you the routing table. As you can see, it is still not active. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go again to GRE, click on this option, save. Okay, now I have the interface. Let me add this interface. You can see here it became OPT3, which is my GRE interface. And in the routing table, you can see here that the tunnel is active and the route is also active. So this gets injected once you check on that option. Now let's try to see the rule. Well, after the configuration, you'll have to make sure that you have the appropriate rule here. Okay, for some reason the interface is not showing up. I guess it is not enabled. Okay, this is the reason why you will not see the interface here. Okay, like I showed you in the previous firewall access as well, you will not see that interface here. The reason for this is because the option 3 interface, if you click here, is not enabled. Click on enable, save, apply changes, and you should be able to see that OPT3, which is our GRE interface. You can click here, it shows GRE 0. Okay, now that we have all the things in our configuration, so now we can test it out. Okay, this is the firewall, and if you go to if config, you should see GRE tunnel, GRE 0. As you can see, the same thing, you can see it on the GUI as well. You see here, this is the same interface. GRE 0, you can see here the tunnel IP addresses, which is 14.140.40.30, 14.140.40.108 as per our diagram. And the internal network, which has to be encapsulated, the traffic between these two networks will be encapsulated using the GRE tunnel IP, this and this. Well, on the other firewall also we can check. There is a command to check the tunnel status. This is the tunnel on the FortiGate firewall, which is showing as up. As you can see here on the other end, which is the FortiGate firewall configuration. Okay, let's see the same thing on our PfSense firewall, how it'll look like once it is up. You can click on this, scroll down, OPT3 interface, which is our GRE interface, status as up. You can see this is the local network, which has to be encapsulated with the GRE source and destination IP. Well, that's all I think we can test. And one more thing, what I missed here was the rule to allow the traffic. Well, you will have to click on option 3 and then add the rule to allow the traffic to this particular network on the PfSense firewall. By this, what I mean is, okay, let's try to initiate some traffic from the PfSense firewall. Okay. So you can see here, Source is 10.10.10.130. Destination is 11.11.11.13, which is our network behind FortiGate firewall. Works properly, fine. Works properly, and let's see what else we have. Okay, so like I said, there is no rule defined on the PfSense firewall on OPT3 interface. So what will happen here is that I will not be able to ping this. And to make this work, you will have to add a rule. VLAN 2. Okay, so let's try to check this. Well, I have created two rules here, but this is not a good practice. Just to show you how you should be configuring the rule, I've created two rules here. And the second rule, you can specify the protocol that you would like to allow and the network source and destination port, whatever you would like to allow for this tunnel interface. As you can see, once I have the rule in place, I'm able to ping from the FortiGate firewall. And I'm able to ping from the PfSense firewall as well. I'm able to ping from the FortiGate firewall as well. So the traffic's flowing to and fro. And you can check the same. Okay, you can see here the packet in out will keep on increasing. You can see here 268, 272. Okay, so this is how you can configure the Gre Tunnel on PfSense firewall, and there are things that you will have to make sure that you are doing that. For example, the interface, once you create the Gre tunnel, you will have the interface reflected as OPT3 or whatever. You will have to click on add and then check the interface listing. If it is not listed, that means your interface is not enabled. Click on enable link, save. You will then see the interfaces in your interface section, and then after that you will have to create a rule on that particular interface, which is the Gre interface, to allow the traffic. Once you have that, your configuration should work fine. And one more thing is the VLAN one, where you will have to allow the traffic as well, because this is the interface where you will receive the traffic from the remote end. So for VLAN 1 also you should have the rule so that you can, accept the inbound traffic. Well, I guess that's all in this video. I have covered all the steps that you would require to configure Gre tunnel. All right, guys, that's all in this video, and see you in the next video. And please do subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and stay tuned. Have a good day.